So I recently hit 100,000 followers on YouTube on my main channel. Unreal, I know. And, if you look at the channel for what it is, this is going to be kind of a classic tale that a lot of people feel, especially when you're younger and you feel like you're never going to make it. I'm just turned 35 recently, and this all happened for me basically at 34 years old. But I've been trying, okay, for about 20 years. Not for YouTube, but just in general, okay? And before I get into this kid's comment sent in on Instagram that a lot of you probably resonate with, I know I do. Lord knows I wanted to give up over the last 20 years. I want to show you something. Because my original dream wasn't to be a YouTuber, okay? I just wanted to be in the creative space. This is from 2009, okay? It's me doing a switch kick flip, 2009, all right? So I've been putting out content since 2004. DVDs, tapes, weird websites like kinesisfilms.net, which is still live, by the way, that a 14-year-old made at the time. Innovating stuff. Okay? Countless DVDs. And it took me from 8 years old to 2009 to get my first magazine thing, all while making no money whatsoever. Okay? And then by the age of 21, 22, I made it on Tony Hawk's YouTube channel, the Ride channel. That was big shit for me. I was like, oh my God, Tony Hawk, Uncle Tony, T-Bird. Not really, but it was a big deal. But I knew by that age, this is important, that I wasn't going to make it as a pro skateboarder, nor have I been paid anything. All right, I'll list some accomplishments, but in skateboarding, but this is going to make sense. Hold on, we'll get back to the YouTube stuff. This is the power of not giving up, which I'm guilty of giving up. Right. So this one was sent in by this kid named Matt. He goes, I wanted to thank you kindly for your inspirational words. One thing that I have a problem with is sticking to it, especially when I have my own self-limiting beliefs. I know you talked about this in the past. Anywho, your words really put my mind in a better state because I've really been wanting to give up. I have plans of my own, and Lord willing, will follow through. If not, then that's okay, because not everything is meant for me, vice versa. All right. So I brought up the skateboarding to say that that was like my identity for a long time. So around 22, 23, people used to always say, Jack, you're so funny. You should do stand-up comedy. So what do you know? I went and I did stand-up comedy. Okay? And this was like one of my first, pop it on the screen, one of my first, third time on stage. My friend filmed it. You gotta be a nut job to film your first time, but it went pretty great. And, but this is a common theme after skateboarding. This was kind of the only thing that I actually stuck with. Okay? Sticking with it is a big part of this video, because a lot of people, they'll meet me now and they'll look at my YouTube channel and be like, oh wow, it only took you 2 years. And it's like, whoa buddy, slow down. All right, so I started doing stand-up at 23. I did it for about a year. This is gonna make sense. And I gave up. It wasn't working. There's no money in it. The self-doubt thing, not that I wasn't good at it, it was just, it was difficult. In skateboarding, it was like you just did it for fun. There wasn't this aspect of being 19, 20, 21, 22. When I started it, this money thing didn't matter, so you could take your time to get good at it. And you lived at your parents' house, so everything was free. That's always great. But before that, let's rewind. I said, okay, let me start my own clothing brand. So I started a company called Shit's Whack. I know, right? Printed out like 5 t-shirts. I did a whole thing, dude. I mean, it was crazy. Had my homie make the website. We sold 2 shirts very well. The rest did not sell. And basically, let me lower that brightness down. Whoa, what the fuck? It failed. I gave up. Okay, good. Let's mark that one down. Okay? So, I gave up on the skateboarding. I could have kept going, but the point is I mentally gave up on it. Like, I'll never make money from skating. And then I go, oh, I can make money selling product in skateboarding. Then I gave up on that. Then I started the stand-up. Year, gave up on that. Then years go by, YouTube. I'm like, oh, let me lower this shit, man. So I give up on the stand-up, right? Okay, I'm just bartending, fucking around, partying. I'm still skateboarding, because that's all I really know. Didn't make a fucking dollar from skating, all right? There is some accomplishments with it, but I didn't realize it till I was much older. So about 2016, I go, oh, Instagram's the truth, the way, and the light. So I start doing skits, right? And I'm doing stand-up here and there, once or twice a year. Big fucking deal. So I'm doing these skits. They're all going good. You know, I'm getting like 18 likes. You know, here I'm coming from a magazine getting 18 likes on fucking Instagram. You know, that was a blow to the gut. You could really feel those numbers hurt. So I do that, and then I go, oh, YouTube's the way. So I start a YouTube channel, like 2017. I do that for about a year and a half. I post 2 videos every single week. I mean, Instagram, I was posting way more. Over 2 years, I gained 3,000 followers on Instagram. Guess how many on YouTube? 2 years. 500 subscribers on YouTube. Yeah. 500. And I gave up. I just gave up. I said, I'm a loser. It's never going to work. It's never going to work. So at the ripe age of 30, it was probably about a year since I had given up on the skits and everything. My mother passed away. And I was in my head, I was like, I'm coming back. You know, around 30, I was like, I'm coming back and I'm going to make YouTube work. I don't care if I have to change the content. I don't care what I got to do. I was like, I have not been doing this since I'm, 13, 14 years old, to just all of a sudden not be in a creative space. That was kind of my argument with it. It was like, no fucking way. All right? And to be fair, remember what this guy said, sticking with it. There were periods where I had given up. Okay? All right. So, my mother passes away, and I'm all fucked up because my mom was the main reason I started anything creative whatsoever. She believed in me more than anyone. She was like, you're going to be the funny Tom Cruise, or you're going to be the funniest skateboarder there is. You're going to do something, and I know it. And she would introduce me to people. Like, this is my son, Jack. He's going to be a big deal. And I'd go, oh, God, I got to live up to that. So it was like kind of that pressure. And when she passed, it was almost like, well, why am I doing any of this? And I was just depressed for a couple of years, So around 32, exactly 2 years ago in October, I started up this YouTube channel again. And I didn't know exactly what I was going to do. But I had this car. And Jack Morgan RLP, this is my second channel. If everybody asks me what RLP stands for, it stands for Red Leather Podcast. Because I started it in this Cadillac. And then the Cadillac broke down, and I said, this isn't probably the smartest practical thing to do. So I ended up getting 2 red leather chairs from a thrift shop. They were just happened to be there. I was just looking for chairs. I was like, let's just do a fucking podcast. I'll bring guests in. My idea was like, pick up a homeless guy on the side of the road, or have a total stranger I just met, come and do this podcast. That was kind of the idea behind it. So I go full in for 6 months. We gained 200 subscribers. I go, okay, this isn't working. Now, I'm not the best at filming and editing. This is like my weakness, but I'm not going to let that stop me. So I go, what do I need to learn how to do? So I start teaching myself. I go, I have done so much stuff in my life. I go, I can learn this. At least be okay enough. Okay enough. So So it looked as if I gave up again. Like everybody's watching me. Like a lot of people have been following me forever. They just probably see like, oh, he just stopped posting. He's giving up. They're probably not thinking that, but that's how it looks. But I spent like a solid 2 months just going, how do I learn Photoshop and make a cover photo for this? And, you know, what do I need to do with the titles? And do I need to scratch everything? And that's what I did. I scratched fucking everything. And I saw a genre where people were reacting to clips. Okay, if you're new here, you can check out my main channel or don't. It doesn't really matter. The point of this whole thing is sticking with it and not giving up. So I start this whole new genre that I've never tried before, okay? And I've tried it all. Skits, stand-up comedy, podcasting, fucking action sports, okay? Candid camera shit where people don't even know they're being filmed. You name it, I probably tried it. Like actual acting stuff, I've tried it. I fucking did. But this was the one thing I haven't tried yet. So I really liked this medium, but everybody was so serious in this medium, in this space, right? So I said, I'm going to be the funny guy in this space. And if you were to have told me 10 years ago that, Jack, you're going to make a living talking about serious topics on the internet, but adding a little bit of your humor to it, and you're going to be talking about the economy, dating, cars, societal issues, I would have been like, you sure, bro? But yeah. And could you imagine if I just didn't come back? If I just stopped 5 years ago or however long it was now, and I just didn't come back? Let's dial back a little bit now. Okay. This is kind of important. The power of sticking with it. Usually we can't see it. So with skateboarding, just because I never made any money off of it, it wasn't until much later that I saw, right? My name was in like just dozens of videos because I was filming stuff too. So it'd be like filmed by Jack Morgan, right? I would be in the videos, so I'm actually skating and I'm getting filming credit, okay? Then I look back at it and I never really got any big sponsorships, but then I was like, hold on, I got free boards from Zoo York, I got free boards from a local company, I was on 2 different skate shops sponsored by them. I got sponsored by a water bottle company in 2009, Wada in New York, randomly, just because I knew somebody and I did a demo. I was getting free cases of water. You know, I look at it now and I thought it was kind of like, but I was like, that's a big deal. Free water? Water bottles, should I say? I'm kind of sick the last week. But it wasn't until much later, once I started doing something outside of the creative space, I started buying and selling goods. This is all going to make sense. And it was like a fun hobby for me, like vintage items. And then I realized I could make money with it. So I did that for like 5 years, and for 2 years, I was making a full-time living off of it. And that's when it hit me. You know, once I turned around 32, after I was so depressed, and I realized, I was like, wow, I have an actual business. Like, I did it. It's not like necessarily the most creative thing, but it was like, all I did was I kept going. I just didn't stop doing it, even when I wasn't making a bunch of money or hardly any money. I was losing money. And then I realized that was skateboarding too. I said, look at how far I went when I just kept going. Because I wasn't naturally gifted like these other like pro skateboarders. And that's when it really registered. And that's when I came back to YouTube. I didn't go back to stand-up. I'll do stand-up here and there. I'll let you guys know whenever I do a show. But this is something that I enjoyed doing, and it was my own way of being kind of creative, but also talking about stuff I care about. And then here's the funniest part. Once this happened, which I am more than grateful for, the skateboarding stuff, I got my first box from Girl Skateboards because of YouTube. and the fact that I did all that skateboarding, everything that I've ever done now gets recognized. It's actually more satisfying than the money. Not that I really care what people think. Most people, you know, you get a lot of people. I've gotten some fucking hate in my life, okay? I've been putting out content for 20 years. But it's not really about me being like, look at me. You know, otherwise I'd be doing stand-up every night. I don't have like this selfie mentality, but I know that this is what I'm supposed to be doing. So anyways, thank you guys. Thank all of you guys for being here, making this possible. And that's what happened behind the scenes. I've been trying forever, and then I've given up, but I always came back. It's okay to give up for a little bit, but just make sure you show back up. And just thought I owe it to you guys. Also, you know, everyone's like, they have this look. My biggest inspiration is, you know, like the Rat Pack and these old movies, and you know, Goodfellas style movies. And that's why I drive a Cadillac, and I do these things. It's just, I don't know what it is about that, but that's kind of, you know, everyone's got their own inspiration from things, but people are always kind of like the way I dress, and you know, I don't always dress up in a jacket or something, but you know, it's just kind of what I've always looked up to. And the cool thing about that is back then, those people were all older, you know, in their 40s and their 50s, and it was like cool to be that like cool older dude. So if you're young watching this, take that home with you, okay? And it's just crazy. All right, I'm hanging up now. I've been blabbing too long. Moral of the story is, enjoy the ride. It's not actually, this isn't the pinnacle. When I look back at everything, getting there is more than half the fun. Solid talk.